You know, sometimes you stumble upon something that changes the way you see your entire family's past. For me, that happened last summer. I was cleaning out my grandmother's attic dust, cobwebs, boxers, untouched for decades, and in one of those boxers, I found a thick envelope. No name, no stamp, not even a postmark. Just yellowed paper tied with string. I opened it. Inside was a letter. At first, nothing unusual. Uneven handwriting, ink slightly faded. But the very first line made me freeze. Don't go to the station tomorrow. If you do, you won't come back. There was no signature. Just a date, August 5th, 10th, 1949. The thing is, my grandfather wasn't even born until 1953. I figured maybe it was meant for someone else and just ended up with his belongings by accident. But then, why was it stored separately, in a wooden box, wrapped in thick cloth? The more I read, the stranger it got. The letter mentioned events that couldn't have happened yet at the time it was written. For example, the second line said, "When the bridge in town is closed for repairs, don't try to cross over the ice. You'll fall through." I checked the archives. The bridge really was closed in 1972, and that winter, several people fell through the ice. I didn't know it then, but that was only the beginning. The letter had 7 warnings. 3 of them were about events that had already happened. The other 4 hadn't. I went downstairs to my grandmother and carefully asked, "Have you ever seen this letter?" For a split second, her face went pale. "Where did you get that?" "I found it in the attic." "Whose is it?" She paused, then said quietly, "Burn Italiano." And she walked into the kitchen, leaving me standing there, holding the yellowed sheet in my hands. Of course, I didn't burn it. Instead, I put it in my backpack and went to see my friend Alex. He loves strange stories and knows how to dig through old archives. He looked at the date and said, "This is a code." Someone was clearly passing information, but disguised it as a warning from the future. But no idea. Maybe they knew what was going to happen and tried to warn someone. We decided to check one of the warnings that hadn't happened yet. It sighed, on the first floor of the old house on Praia del Naya Street, "Don't open the door after 6 p.m. The next day, we went there. The house was crumbling, windows boarded up. On the first floor, there really was a door old, paint peeling. We stood across from it, laughing at how absurd this all was, until the clock struck 6:02. Then, we heard knocking from inside. Eben. Steady. Like someone tapping with their knuckles. I froze. Alex stepped back. The knocking came again, louder this time. And then, someone whispered softly, almost right at the door. "Open it." We didn't. We just walked away. I still don't know who or what was in there. Or what would be happened if we had opened it. Since then, I've started looking at the letter differently. I'm even afraid to read the last warning. It's written in large letters, taking up almost half the page. If you make it to the end, don't turn around. And the strange thing is, every time I think about it, I get the feeling that someone is standing right behind me. If you liked this video and my little story, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Did you enjoy this story and my coloring?